Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you some of my findings as I went out and about and looked at some of the new releases and just some perfumes in general. So I've got like a fairly decent list of fragrances that I tried out. Most of them I tried on my skin, and I thought I would let you know whether I would purchase them or not. As I did this, I realized it quickly became a little bit of an anti-haul, but not completely. So before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Go ahead, join the Weird Wonderful family. It would be great to have you part of the community. And I just want to say, I just find it such a pleasure to get to know some of you through the comments. I really, really enjoy checking them out. And just so you know, I try my best to answer as many as I can. Unfortunately, because I post 3 times a week, I do have a job on top of doing YouTube. So it's a little hard for me to get to all the comments, but I just want to know how much I appreciate you as a community. You guys are amazing, and let's get into this. When I'm testing new fragrances, I honestly use my perfume journal all the time. Now, this is something that I created for my community. You can get it on Amazon. I know I've talked about it a bunch of times, but many of you continue to weigh in about how useful you find it, especially if you are trying samples. And that's when I like to use it. Like sometimes, you know how you go into a store and you'll try on a bunch of different perfumes in different spots? I write down where I put them on, and then I pay attention to the openings. I come home and then I write out the notes. I write out how I experience the fragrance. There's different descriptor words here that you can put down if those are helpful. And actually, for those of you that have bought the book, tell me if you enjoy these descriptor words section. For me, because I use fragrances all the time, I don't necessarily bother with this part. I just write how the fragrance makes me feel. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this descriptor section is helpful, or would you rather have more room to write down? So let me know, because I can always put out a different version as well. But then what I love is I can put in how long the fragrance lasts on my skin in the end, and also whether I love, like, or pass. And for me, the love, like, and pass section really helps me determine whether it's a fragrance that I want to seriously consider or not. So if it's a love, I will go back and check it out. These days, I am not interested in buying likes. I've got enough fragrances that I certainly don't need to add a like to my collection. I want to add loves to my collection. And for me, like, of course, I get PR. So fragrances will come my way that I like, and I still wear those. If I'm purchasing a fragrance with my own money, I want it to be a love, because I just don't want to add more likes to my collection. So using this perfume journal really helps me to whittle down what I really want to buy. It helps me to know what I really think of a fragrance. So writing out just helps me collect my thoughts on the fragrance. So you can use this as a perfume diary where you just keep track of your experience with the fragrance every day, or you can use it as kind of a resource book. There's a wish list section in the back, as well as a glossary of kind of just familiar or some terms that are used in perfumery that may be helpful for you. Anyway, this you can find on Amazon in most countries. There's going to be a version. There's a soft cover and a hard cover, and they come in this color and then 2 other colors. Not everybody can get the hard cover too. It just depends on the nation. But there's 3 covers that are the same as this, but they're just different colors. They're all the same book. I just wanted to give you color options. So anyway, I just find this really helpful when I'm trying out fragrances to see what I want to get. So moving on, the first fragrances I found were at HomeSense. They're perfume oils from the brand Sand+Fog, and they were like $16.99. I love Sand+Fog candles. I find that they're the fragrances that smell the most kind of natural and real. I just prefer Sand+Fog over any of the candles that I smell at HomeSense. Those are always the ones that I gravitate towards, and I think they smell the best quality. But they have perfumes, but they also have perfume oils. So they had banana cream, sweet apple, and lychee dream were the 3. I tried banana cream first because I was really excited about about smelling banana cream. And it definitely was a really decent kind of banana cream smell. It wasn't too sweet, and it also wasn't too artificial smelling, but it didn't last very long. So that was the only one I tried on the skin. I'd like to potentially get it because it's only $16.99, and I really did enjoy it. I think it would be really great to put it on and layer it with a fragrance, like layer it with a vanilla fragrance where you want a little bit of banana smell, or with something like an ylang ylang type fragrance, something that's a little bit solar with that banana would smell really good. So really enjoyed that one. The Lychee Dream one smelled basically like Eden Sparkling Lychee. Like when I smelt it, I thought, my goodness, this would be perfect paired with either Kayali's Eden Sparkling Lychee or Care Fusion by Paris Corner. So either one of those would be amazing. So really, really enjoyed that one. And again, $16.99, but it's just an oil, right? So it's one of the base layers that you would use. It gives you moisture, I guess. The last one was Sweet Apple, and I didn't think I would like it, but I really did. But I can't remember really what that was like, but I did smell it and went, huh, because I normally am not a huge apple fan. So that one's one to check out. So if you run across those oils in HomeSense, they're $16.99 and definitely worth sniffing because I thought they were all really rather scrumptious and so affordable. I went to Sephora, and the first fragrance that I smelled was the new Paco Rabanne Million Gold. Now, I was happy to see that they have taken it out of that ugly Lady Million bottle. You're seeing it on the screen, but it's, to me, one of the most hideous pieces of packaging I've ever seen. Like, that is a hideous bottle, like horrible. So the new bottle is definitely beautiful. Like it's way more classy, it's upscale, sophisticated. So I loved the bottle. Million Gold had pear, rose, and lavender in the opening, ylang ylang and jasmine in the heart, and then the base had vanilla, musk, and moss. When I first put this one on, I thought, wow, this is quite nice. Like it was just sweet and happy and whatnot. But honestly, it's just completely generic. It's just your typical fruity floral fragrance. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't really gravitate towards those anymore. Like I've got enough of them, enough designer fragrances that fit that category. And I've kind of moved away from just your happy fruity floral fragrance. So when I think about a generic fruity floral, I think of ones like Prada Paradox, My Way, Valentino, I think it's called, the Lady Gaga one. Those fragrances, they're nice, but they don't really excite me anymore. So for me, it's a pass. It smelled similar to Fame too. So Fame has the mango. This one had a little bit of pear. It's a nice enough fragrance, but it's just, it didn't move me in any way, shape, or form. The bottle, however, is way nicer than the one in the past. That one was super duper lame. This bottle is very, like, way more sophisticated. So if you're in the mood for just a happy, fruity floral, sweet floral, and you don't have anything like that in your collection, it's definitely one that you want to sniff and try on your skin because it was nice. Longevity wasn't fantastic, like max 5 hours, but it was still a really nice fragrance, just not anything I would want to add to my collection at this point. It's just not interesting to me right now. The second one that I tried that I was actually excited to try was Libre Floral and Flames by YSL. So this one has lavender heart and bergamot essence in the opening. And what does that mean? Like bergamot essence as opposed to just bergamot? Like, is it like the air of bergamot? Like, what's the deal? Lavender heart? Like, what the heck? I don't know what it means, but anyway, that's what's in it. It has desert lily, coconut palm tree blossom, orange blossom, diva lavender, and vanilla in the base. When I first sprayed this fragrance, what I got was this beautiful tiny bit of lavender, but I got a lot of the floral, and I appreciated it more than the floral in the original Libre. I still got some of that vanilla in there as well. So it was just, it was a little bit lighter feeling than the other fragrances, and I thought it was really, really nice. Now, as it dried down, I thought it was actually quite interesting. As it dries down, it got very, very solar to the point that it kind of reminded me of Alien Goddess, not the Goddess Intense that smells like it has the alien DNA, but the first Alien Goddess that they released. To me, it just smells like a solar fragrance. It didn't have any alien DNA. Libre Flowers and Flames really reminded me of that. So that kind of vibe. So it was nice, but again, I found it to be a bit generic. This was a like for me, whereas Million Gold was a pass. I enjoyed it, but I have enough fragrances that scratch that itch that I have no desire to buy this. And I guess the other thing is how many Libre ones do we need? You can kind of get attached to the line and it's fun to collect them. But this one didn't, like, it was probably my favorite one out of the collection, but I've got Tharwa Gold, which I like better than any of the Libre ones, and it fits that same category and was more affordable. So for me, like, I don't need another one that kind of smells like that. I'm just sick of purchasing fragrances that smell similar. It just ends up being too much. I just don't need them. They may be slightly different, but I've got no attachment to that line. So absolutely, I wouldn't buy it. If you haven't tried it, again, all of these are worth giving a shot to. The next fragrance that I tried was by Jo Malone, and it's their new fragrance called Taif Rose. Now, when I first sprayed this on, I'm like, oh, it's amazing. It's just basically rose, amber, and coffee. But again, this is a DNA that we have seen over and over again. It's popular for good reason. This one, as it dried down, I'm like, no, it's just another woody rose. And I've got lots of those. So lately, like I just mentioned, Prodigy by Mind Games. I've got Rose Omaïd by Atelier des Ors. I've got lots of woody rose fragrances. And this one was the least interesting that I had tried in a while. So it was fairly linear. And for that reason, this would not be one I would purchase. It lasted a decent amount of time. So it wasn't like some of the Jo Malone fragrances that doesn't last at all. This one I could smell for a good 6 hours. Not sure about projection though. As it dried down, it felt a little bit flat, a little bit kind of clunky. Like it just didn't really jive somehow with my chemistry. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. So for me, it would be a total pass. It wasn't to the level of some of the other ones that I have. Now, Kayali's Yum Bougie Marshmallow. I was resistant even to try this one. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I don't know why, but I just was reticent for some reason. Feeling a little bit snobbish about it. So I put it on. I love it! Like, it is so yummy. Like, if anything should have had yum in it, it's this one. So I'm going to read you the notes because there's quite a few. In the top or the head, you have freesia, lemon, nectarine, blossom, and apple. In the heart, you have marshmallow, strawberry, coconut, and orange blossom. Base is whipped cream, sugar, vanilla, musk, raspberry, and ambroxan. Now, I think part of the reason why I felt kind of is I was super pumped about vanilla candy rock sugar. I hemmed and hawed a little bit about whether I should get it, and decided to go for it. I've only worn it twice in a year. And so I'm like I love a lot of her scent profiles, but I find that I just don't gravitate towards them in the end. So really nice, but then I don't reach for them. So then it's like, oh, do I want to buy this one? I still don't know. Like I loved it. Like I thought it was so delicious. Honestly, what it reminds me of is a little bit like almost a lighter, slightly musky version of Strawberry Pound Cake from Bath & Body Works, which is a hit for a reason. Everybody loves it. This Yum Bougie Marshmallow wasn't quite as cakey, but it would remind me of like a strawberry trifle where you have a little bit of cake with whipped cream and lots of strawberry in there. That's kind of the feel that it gave me. So I think she did an amazing job on it. The longevity on it is freaking amazing. I put it on around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, sprayed a decent amount on my skin, like, I don't know, 3 sprays on my arm. And then I could smell it the next morning. when I got up. So a ridiculous, like longer than 12 hours, I could still smell it on my skin. And it was a skin scent at that point, but the fact that it was still there, none of the other ones were still there except for Bougie Marshmallow. So definitely has some sticking power. And yeah, I wrote in my book that I thought it was like a creamy, cakey strawberry, but not as heavy is Strawberry Pound Cake from Bath & Body Works. It's got a little bit of airiness to it. So I think it's a fantastic fragrance, and definitely that strawberry comes through. So if you're wanting a strawberries and cream with a little bit of birthday cake in there, you would probably love this. And I used to make a cake when I was growing up, and it was just a vanilla cake, but then the icing it was Cool Whip, like that you whipped from the powder, because that's what we had back in the 80s. So it was the powder, you added a little bit of milk and you whipped it up. And then I would add a strawberry jello in it and you whipped it all together. So it was this thick, and I'd put about this much in between the layers and then do the whole cake in it. And almost the whipped topping was a little bit cakey because it was so thick and kind of almost dense. So it made a really cool icing. But that is what this fragrance smells like. Vanilla cake with a good dose of whipped cream and strawberry jello almost. So yeah, it's not a fresh strawberry. It's definitely that strawberries and cream vibe with the cake. So really, really enjoyed this one. Would I want to buy a full bottle? Oh, it's hard to say. I really want Strawberry Letter by Fleur, but that one doesn't last very long, but it's a more clear strawberry, whereas this is definitely a cream and strawberry, but not just strawberries and cream. There's more of that cakey vibe. I like it, but it's so sweet. When I think of a fragrance like that, I don't think sophisticated. I don't think grown woman. Not that a grown woman can't wear it. I don't think elegant. I think fun. I think pigtails. I think like giggly. Like that was a terrible giggle. But yeah, like it's fun. I'm not sure if it's where I'm at. I think I would buy a travel spray of it though, because I can see myself using up a full travel spray. It's lovely. Like it's lovely. So definitely sniff it. Definitely try it on your skin. I can see tons of people liking this one. I can see this one being the one that people like over all the other ones, honestly. For me, I'm not sure I would wear it that much. I would definitely wear it more often than I've reached for Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar though. So I don't know, maybe I should sell Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar and then buy Bougie Marshmallow, or maybe I should just wait because likely Paris Corner the Care line will come out with some version of that. And if they did, I think it would be delicious. I don't know if they could pull it off though, because this one is a little bit more complicated, I think. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that one. Weigh in, tell me what you think. Like, I honestly thought it was great. I don't think it's sophisticated. I think it's quite like, giggly and girly, which again, everybody vibes with that at some point. I don't always want to smell sophisticated as I spit. Like I just spat all over the place. I'm not sophisticated, like not really. I would say I'm more girly and just kind of whatever, but for a fragrance, like I want something a little bit more elegant, at least right now in my elegant phase. It's going to be hard for me though, because seriously, I really liked it. Next one was by Clean Reserve and it was Whipped Cherry. So that I think is their latest one. It had cherry, coconut water, and pineapple in the opening. In the heart, it has almond blossom, apple blossom, and mimosa. In the base, it had cherry, whipped cream, vanilla, praline, and cedar. This one, I really enjoyed the smell of it. So out of all of the Clean Reserve ones, this one I liked the best. I didn't think that the cherry smelled like cough syrup, so I've seen that a little bit. I didn't think it smelled like cough syrup. I thought it was a nice rendition of cherries and cream. So I enjoyed it. The cherry is very light, maybe a little maraschino cherry-esque, or like like a red cherry, or like a little bit darker, but not boozy, not Tom Ford, just cherry, almost like a cherry gummy bear kind of thing. So that kind of cherry candied with the whipped cream. It was pleasant, but what it reminded me of was a whisper or an idea. You know, when you've got like this idea on just the tips of your braids, and then, you know, it starts to become a whisper, and then you may start to talk about it, but it doesn't quite formulate into anything. And maybe it's just like this. That's what whipped cherry was like. It was an idea that didn't quite formulate into a thing. On the skin, I could kind of smell it. If I stuck my face right in it, I could smell it. And it lasted actually a long time, but there was zero projection. It was full on skin scent on me. I liked the smell of it, but I don't like wearing whispers. I want to wear something that sings. I don't want to wear a whisper. I don't want to wear a wallflower. I want to wear something that says, here I am. So this one just, it didn't do it for me. If you like softer fragrances, I can see this one being really quite nice. I loved the gourmand nature of it. I loved the fact that it had some muskiness in it, but it's definitely a pass for me. Donna Born and Roma Green Stravaganza. This one is by Valentino. It has Lapsang Souchong tea, which I've never tried. It has jasmine in the heart and vanilla in the base. When I first sprayed it on my skin, I got a lot of kind of greenness in it. And it just smelled really refreshing. It's something that I'd want to wear in the spring and summer. Refreshing and relaxing. So that's what I got to begin with. And as soon as I sprayed it, I thought to myself, oh, this is one I think I might want to get. Now, as it sat on my skin, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, because if you like this fragrance, I don't think it was a fragrance. I think it was how it responded to my, I was going to say brain chemistry. Maybe that's more like it, but my skin chemistry. But it went from smelling green and kind of refreshing, relaxing, just kind of smooth to, and the green it smelled was almost like a neon green. So it reminded me of the bottle. So I liked that. I like it when the color, the juice inside represents what you're getting on, like putting on your skin. As this dried down, like in about 3-4 hours, I smelt my wrist and it actually smelt like vomit. Like I'm like, what? And so I smelt it again, and seriously, it smelled like vomit. I could still smell the perfume, but mixed with my skin, like I'm like, like what the heck just happened? Like it went really weird. And so I was a little bit horrified. And then of course, you know, when something smells bad, you just keep on sniffing it. So I'm like, does it still smell like vomit? And so I'd smell it, and it just smelled really raunchy. And then all of a sudden, at about the 6-hour mark, it started to smell like perfume again. And it was so faint at that point that I couldn't really get anything out of it. Now, that doesn't sound overly promising, but I did like it enough that this is definitely one I would want to go back and try it solely on its own and see if I end up liking it. This is definitely one that I would want to try again on my skin alone and see how it works with my skin chemistry, because I really did enjoy it. I've been looking for a fragrance in my collection that fits that green category. So it would be this one, Daisy Wild. I really enjoy, and I want to find something like that potentially for spring. So wanting a greener fragrance that's not overly sweet for spring. So it is a contender in there in that it's green, but I would definitely have to try it again. The Donna Born and Roma line overall isn't one that I vibe with, so likely it wouldn't work, but it was intriguing enough to me that I would want to try it again. Now, the last line that I just sniff, I wanted to weigh in because the packaging looks so cool, spa-like, looks pretty trendy. It's from Sand and Stone, and it was the Bergamot and HINOKI. and then the SANTAL and VETIVER. I saw both of those scents at Sephora, and so I just sprayed them on the card. I honestly enjoyed both of them. They smell like a spa. The Bergamot and HINOKI ones smelt a little bit citrus, fresh, smelt a little bit like almost mossy or like a dry vetiver-y type feel. It felt very refreshing. Whereas the Santal and Vetiver, I got mainly sandalwood from that one. Both fragrances were very, very relaxing and smelled spa-like, and think would be great for anyone that doesn't really enjoy fragrance and just wants to smell like essential oils. That's the vibe it gave me. So to me, fragrances like that are nice, but a lot of times they're fleeting. I didn't try it on my skin. So these aren't fragrances that I would purchase because I want to smell my fragrances, and I don't necessarily want to smell like essential oils, at least all the time. These would be great fragrances for just getting out of the shower. Maybe they'd be a little bit fleeting. The whole line is very luxe looking and beautiful. I can't weigh in about how they perform, but they look really, really lovely. But as far as the fragrances are concerned, if you like kind of that natural, earthy, clean girl aesthetic, if that's your thing, definitely you want to check them out. For me, it's a pass. So out of all these fragrances, the only ones that I would consider purchasing, I liked the Sand+Fog perfume oils. I think that they're really fun, but I would likely not purchase them only because I don't use oils that much. If that's something that you do enjoy using, I definitely think that they're fun. And I enjoyed all of the scents on them. Out of all the fragrances, I am going to try Green Stravaganza again on the skin. Likely that will be a pass. The only one that I'm really torn about is Bougie Marshmallow, because I really, really did enjoy that fragrance. But as far as buying a full bottle or even a 50 ml, I think that that would be foolish because I just don't tend to reach for them. So having that to put on for a girly fragrance every once in a while, I think I would buy a 10 ml. And then if I use that up really quickly, I would consider purchasing something larger. That's what I've heard a lot of you are doing these days. You're getting either a larger sample or buying a travel spray. And if you go through that, then you'll purchase something more. And I get the logic behind buying a 100 ml bottle because it's definitely better value for your money. That said, if you've got a lot of fragrances in your collection, the chances of you even going through a 10 ml is very, very small. And one of the things that really resonated with you guys in my little mini rant the other day is, how about sanity is the word for 2025 or something like that. And I think right now, with the way the economy is and just everything, we've been like going crazy since COVID in the fragrance realm. And I think it's fun and it's good. And if it brings you joy, great. But I also think that there's room for moderation and going, okay, what do I really want to add to my collection? So out of all of these fragrances, although lots of them were really beautiful, none of them fit a need. The only one that I don't have anything like it in my collection would be the Bougie Marshmallow. Other than that, they'd all be slightly repetitive. And so then why would I be buying it? Just because I like it? Again, I think it's really important for us to think about things like that so that we're not just making our collection full of redundants. So anyway, let me know what you think. Have you tried these? Are you wanting them? Please weigh in. Again, my opinions are not right. They're just my opinions. Same thing with you guys. You have opinions. Someone might disagree with them. That's the beauty of fragrance, is that there's lots of room for different tastes, and there's so much variety out there. It just makes fragrance so much fun. So that is it. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.